In the previous video, we learned that, contrary to popular belief, the Bible actually affirms the existence of other gods. However, we should not consider the Bible's authors polytheists, since Scripture exalts the God of Israel far above other divine beings. In this video, we will explore the role lesser divine beings played in the Old Testament. In Psalm 82, the God of Israel, the God of the Bible, is said to hold judgment over other gods. God has taken his place in the divine council. In the midst of the gods, he holds judgment. Psalm 82 becomes very interesting if you learn a little Hebrew. The word most often translated God or gods in the Old Testament is Elohim. Watch what happens when we reveal where that word is used in this passage. Notice that both the capital G, God, and the lowercase g, gods, were changed. That is because the word Elohim can be used for several different things. The context of the passage tells us what Elohim is referring to. The Bible's writers use Elohim as an alternate name for Yahweh over 1,000 times, but Elohim can also refer to the gods of foreign nations, or demons, spirits of the human dead, and angels, most likely the angel of the Lord. As you can see, these are all inhabitants of the spiritual realm. It should be clear from this list that not all Elohim were considered equal. While Yahweh is an Elohim, the writers of the Bible considered him unique and far above the others. The ancient Israelites thought of the spiritual world as a three-tiered hierarchy with God at the top. It may surprise many Christians to learn that angels are actually on the lowest tier of the hierarchy. The Hebrew word for angel, malach, is basically a job description used to denote a spirit being who carries out modest tasks, like delivering messages. The tier above the angels is occupied by beings called B'nai Elohim in Hebrew. B'nai Elohim is usually translated sons of God in English Bibles, and when most people read that phrase, they are not even aware it refers to spiritual beings. But as we will see, the sons of God played an important role in the Old Testament. In the beginning of the book of Job, there is a meeting of God's court or council. Guess who is there? Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan, a term that means adversary, also came among them. The sons of God do not only show up in God's throne room. Later, in Job, we see that the sons of God were present at creation. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me, if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? On what were its bases sunk? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. We can see that the sons of God were important figures. In the Old Testament, they are often associated with God's inner circle. That inner circle has a name. Scholars call it the Divine Council, which comes from Psalm 82 verse 1. It is the collection of spiritual beings through which God chooses to administer his rule. All ancient Mediterranean religions had some concept of a divine council, and the Israelites were no different. In the 22nd chapter of 1 Kings, the prophet Micaiah describes a meeting of the divine council. In this scene, God decides that Ahab needs to be dealt with. And Micaiah said, "Therefore hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing beside him, on his right hand and on his left. And the Lord said, Who will entice Ahab, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said one thing, and another said another." Notice that God does not deal with Ahab directly. He lets his council decide who should go. After much deliberation, God deems one of the council members worthy. Then a spirit came forward and stood before the Lord, saying, I will entice him. And the Lord said to him, By what means? And he said, I will go out, and will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, You are to entice him, and you shall succeed. Go out and do so. God then commands the spirit to carry out the plan and foretells its success. Scenes like this from God's throne room are very interesting, but probably the most illuminating passage about the divine council and the sons of God is the passage we started with. In Psalm 82, we learn that some of the council members are under judgment because they have acted wickedly. God has taken his place in the divine council. In the midst of the gods, he holds judgment. How long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked? Give justice to the weak and the fatherless. Maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. They have neither knowledge nor understanding. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I said, You are gods, sons of the Most High, all of you. Nevertheless, like men you shall die, and fall like any prince. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all the nations. As we can see, the gods under judgment in this passage are not just any Elohim. They are the B'nai Elyon, the sons of the Most High, or the sons of God in other passages, members of Yahweh's inner circle. If this is the first time you've really taken a close look at Psalm 82, you probably have 100 questions. But it is impossible to touch on every subject concerning the ancient Israelites' view of the spiritual realm in a short video like this. In-depth information on these topics can be found in my book, The Unseen Realm. Or you can visit one of my websites, drmsh.com or thedivinecouncil.com. Or you can watch my Divine Council 101 video series on YouTube.